the arrival of shadows. The sky had never looked so quiet. Yet beneath that calm, a storm was coming. Across the globe, people were finishing their daily routines. Children playing in parks, office workers typing away, unaware that something far beyond their world was moving closer. In space, the stars shone normally, but hidden among them, a fleet of dark ships drifted, silent, enormous, and deadly. The Dark Armada had awakened, and Earth was in its path. Dr. Elara Miles, a young astronomer at the Global Space Observatory, was the first to notice the anomaly, staring at her telescope screens with disbelief. "This can't be right," she whispered, pointing at the unusual cluster of objects. They weren't meteors, nor any known spacecraft. The ships were too large, perfectly shaped, and moving with a strange intelligence that made every calculation feel useless. News channels around the world began picking up strange signals, transmissions from deep space that no one could decode. Panic slowly started to spread as the idea of intelligent life outside Earth became frighteningly real. Governments held emergency meetings, satellites were and fighter jets scrambled into orbit, but nobody knew what they were truly up against. Meanwhile, ordinary citizens felt a change in the air. Phones lost signal, strange shadows flickered across the clouds, and even the sun seemed dimmer. People on the streets looked up nervously, sensing that something unseen was watching. The media called it the Shadow Fleet, and rumors spread like wildfire. Some said it was a peaceful visit, but others whispered of total destruction. Captain Rian Vega, leader of Earth's Space Defense Force, stared at the approaching armada from his command station aboard the orbiting station, Orion. His crew was tense, scanning every movement of the dark ships. "They are massive and organized," Rion said, his voice low, almost a growl. "This is not just an attack. This is a test." He could feel it in his bones, a weight that pressed on humanity itself. As the hours passed, the Armada drew closer, and the first wave of smaller scout ships descended into Earth's atmosphere. Cities across continents reported strange electromagnetic pulses, planes losing control for seconds, lights flickering in buildings. It was clear now that Earth had no warning, no chance to prepare fully. The Armada had chosen its time, and its arrival was absolute. Dr. Miles worked frantically with other scientists to understand the Armada's technology. The signals they sent back seemed more like questions than threats. Yet, the answers were terrifying. "Why Earth?" she wondered aloud, staring at the screens that showed the enormous ships blocking the sun. Something about their movement suggested that they expected resistance, and they would not stop until they knew the outcome. As night fell on the planet, the darkness was heavier than usual. People feared to step outside, unsure what the night would bring. The Armada's shadows moved across the oceans and cities like living predators. Even the brightest cities seemed small and fragile beneath the immense presence in the sky. Captain Rion prepared his team for the first engagement. Pilots checked their ships, weapon systems hummed with energy, and somewhere inside the Armada, its own systems seemed to anticipate every human move. The tension was unbearable, and every second felt like an hour. Humanity was about to face something beyond imagination. Then, a final signal flashed across Earth's networks, a silent warning from the Armada, as if to say, "Surrender or face oblivion." And with that, the stage was set. The Dark Armada had arrived, and the battle for Earth was only just beginning. Humanity prepares. The world woke to fear. Cities were quiet, schools closed, and streets emptied as news of the Dark Armada spread. Governments called emergency meetings. Leaders spoke in hurried tones, trying to calm the panic. But even the strongest speeches could not hide the truth. Humanity was facing something unknown and terrifying. Captain Rion Vega returned to Earth aboard a shuttle, his mind racing. The first scouts had vanished without a trace, and every satellite in orbit now reported massive ships moving in precise formations. "This is not just an attack," he said to his second-in-command, Lieutenant Arya. "They are testing us, calculating our response." They knew that preparation was their only chance. Military bases around the globe worked tirelessly, engineers building advanced weapons, scientists analyzing alien signals, and pilots training for maneuvers they had only imagined in simulations. Humanity united in fear, but also in determination. Nations that once fought among themselves now shared intelligence, shared weapons, blueprints, and shared hope. However small it might have seemed, Dr. Elara Miles joined a special task force, studying the Armada's communications and energy patterns. The more she analyzed, the more she realized the Armada was alive in a way humans could not understand. Their ships moved with purpose, and their signals were precise, almost like a language. She suggested to Captain Rion, "If we can understand their patterns, we might predict their moves," but the risks were high. In orbit, fighter squadrons tested new formations, small teams flying in unison to mimic alien movements. Rian personally trained with the pilots, teaching them to trust instinct as well as machines. Each day brought news of strange phenomena, magnetic storms, sudden blackouts, and odd flashes of light across the sky. Earth seemed to be reacting to the Armada in ways scientists could not explain. Meanwhile, civilians found themselves caught between panic and hope. Some gathered in shelters, while others joined volunteer groups to help with communication networks, medical supplies, and defense drills. Children watched the sky nervously, pointing at shadows moving above the clouds, whispers of fear spreading like wildfire. The world was tense, yet alive with energy, a spark of courage in the face of the unknown. Then, the first real test came. Small alien ships entered Earth's atmosphere to probe defenses. They moved faster than any human craft, disappearing and reappearing with deadly precision. Earth's defenses responded, missiles launched, lasers fired, but the Armada scouts barely slowed. Some ships were destroyed, but the humans realized that the cost of failure could be catastrophic. Captain Rion gathered his pilots for a critical meeting. "We fight not just for survival, but for understanding," he said. "Every move counts, and every decision can save lives." The pilots nodded, their faces tense but determined. They were ready to risk everything for their planet. Dr. Miles sent a warning to all command centers. "They are not only attacking, they are probing for weaknesses." She paused, staring at her screen. "If we make the wrong move, they will know, and the consequences will be beyond imagination." The weight of her words settled over everyone in the room, but no one wavered. As night fell, Earth's skies glowed with strange lights, military satellites and ground radar tracking every shadow. The people of Earth held their breath, knowing that the next encounter could be their first real battle. The Dark Armada was watching, calculating, and waiting, and humanity's preparation would soon be tested in ways no one could fully predict. For the first time, Captain Rion felt the truth deep in his bones. "We are not just defending Earth," he said quietly. "We are proving that humanity will not surrender without a fight." And somewhere beyond the stars, the Dark Armada observed, silent and unyielding. First contact, the day had come. The day humanity would see the Dark Armada up close. Across the world, people watched the skies with a mixture of fear and awe. Massive ships now hovered just above the clouds, their dark hulls blotting out sunlight, casting long shadows over cities and oceans. Even the bravest pilots felt a chill as they prepared to face the unknown. Captain Rian Vega stood on the command deck of the orbital station Orion, staring at the immense fleet before him. "This is it," he said to Lieutenant Arya. "Our first real test." The humans had trained, planned, and prepared, but nothing could fully ready them for the sight of alien power so absolute. Small skirmishes began almost immediately. Scout ships from the Armada probing Earth's defenses, moving with speed and precision that left human pilots struggling to keep up. Lasers and missiles clashed with alien shields, explosions lighting the darkened sky like fireworks of war. But even as some ships were destroyed, the humans realized the Armada was learning with every move, adapting to their tactics. On Earth, Dr. Alara Miles watched the battle unfold through global satellite feeds, analyzing patterns. "They are intelligent beyond comprehension," she told Rian. "Every attack is a test, every maneuver a question." Rian nodded grimly, understanding that the humans were not only fighting for survival, but also for knowledge, for the key to outsmarting this enemy. In the skies above the Atlantic, Rian led a squadron of Earth's fighters against a formation of alien ships. The squadron moved as one, dodging energy beams and returning fire where possible. Explosions rocked the atmosphere, and debris rained down on uninhabited zones. But the humans pressed forward, refusing to retreat. Amid the chaos, a strange signal appeared on Rian's communication system. It was from the Armada itself, pulsing with light and sound that felt almost like a voice. "Observe," it seemed to say. "Comprehend, or perish." Rian felt a shiver, knowing that the enemy wanted more than battle. They wanted to understand humanity's strength, and perhaps their weaknesses. Meanwhile, on the ground, citizens looked up as smaller ships darted through cities, scanning, testing, but mostly observing. Panic mixed with curiosity, people hiding yet peeking through windows. Their fear was matched by a growing sense of awe. Humanity was seeing the unimaginable, and still, no one could surrender. During a brief lull in the fight, Dr. Miles discovered something crucial. The Armada's ships communicated in a pattern, almost musical, that could be disrupted. She explained to Rian, "If we can interfere with their signals, even briefly, we might gain an advantage." Rian clenched his fists, hope igniting. For the first time, humanity might strike back intelligently, not just blindly. As night fell, the skies burned with energy, the Armada's massive shadows stretching over oceans and cities. Yet humanity had survived the first contact. Though scars were visible, ships destroyed, lives lost, and fear etched in every face. But humanity had proven one thing: they would not surrender. They would fight, and they would learn. And in the distance, beyond the clouds and stars, the Armada paused, observing, analyzing, calculating, waiting for the next move. The message was clear, a warning and a challenge, and Captain Rian Vega knew this was only the beginning. Humanity had faced the first contact, but the real battle for Earth was still ahead. Secrets of the Dark Armada. After the first battles, Earth's people breathed a cautious sigh, knowing that victory was temporary. The Dark Armada remained above, silent and watchful, their massive ships moving like predators in the sky. Captain Rian Vega and his team knew that to survive, they needed more than courage, they needed knowledge. Dr. Alara Miles and a small task force were chosen for a dangerous mission, boarding a captured alien scout ship to study its systems. Every panel, every wire, and every glowing console spoke of intelligence far beyond human design. The Armada's technology was not just advanced, it was alive in a sense, reacting to human actions and predicting them with terrifying precision. Inside the ship, the team discovered holographic records of other worlds the Armada had visited, civilizations destroyed or assimilated. Yet among the destruction there was evidence of hesitation, moments where the Armada paused, observing, waiting, as if searching for something specific. Alara whispered, "They are not mindless conquerors, they are hunters with a purpose." Meanwhile, on Earth, Captain Rian prepared the fleets for what he called the final test before all-out war. Pilots trained day and night, engineers pushed weapons to their limits, and civilians contributed in every way possible. Humanity united in a way the Armada may not have expected. Back aboard the captured ship, Alara and her team discovered a weakness hidden in the Armada's network, a way to disrupt communications between ships if used carefully. But the risk was enormous. A new mistake could alert the Armada, and Earth would face total annihilation. Lieutenant Arya warned, "One wrong move, and we are finished." Yet the hope of turning the battle weighed more than the fear of failure. The team also uncovered the Armada's true motive. They were searching for a rare resource, something hidden deep within Earth, a signal embedded in the planet itself. It explained why some ships had paused over deserts, mountains, and oceans, ignoring populated areas. The Armada did not destroy for pleasure. They sought, tested, and judged, and humanity was now under that silent scrutiny. As the night grew darker, Captain Rian gazed at the sky, massive ships reflecting the city lights, like shadows over a battlefield. "They are not invincible," he told his pilots. "They have a purpose, and that purpose can be used against them." His voice was firm, filled with determination, knowing that understanding the enemy was the first step toward victory. Dr. Alara's team began transmitting their findings back to Earth Command, carefully encoding data to avoid detection. The Armada seemed unaware of the espionage, yet every moment on the captured ship felt like walking on a razor's edge. Each discovery brought hope, yet tension hung in the air like a storm waiting to break. In the evening, reports came in of sudden Armada movements, ships changing formation as if aware of the human study. Captain Rian realized the next battle would not only be physical but intellectual, a contest of strategy, courage, and wit. Humanity had survived contact, understood the threat, and now had a plan, but the risk remained immense. As humans prepared for the final confrontation, the Armada watched silently, their dark shapes moving like shadows over Earth, calculating, waiting, testing. The message was clear: the Armada would not give victory easily, and only by understanding and bravery together could humanity hope to survive the storm that was coming. The Dark Armada's secrets were revealed, but they brought more questions than answers. and somewhere in the shadows of the massive ships, the true challenge for Earth was just beginning. Battle for Earth. The sky was alive with fire and shadow. Earth's forces gathered every ship, every weapon, every trained pilot for the moment they had feared and hoped for. Captain Rion Vega stood on the command deck, watching the Dark Armada's massive fleet looming over the horizon. "This is it," he said, voice steady. "The fight for our world begins." Fighter squadrons launched into the sky, sleek ships cutting through the dark clouds, missiles streaking toward the alien vessels. The Armada responded instantly, energy beams tearing through the clouds and ocean below, explosions lighting the sky. Humanity's defenses were tested as never before. Dr. Alara Miles worked furiously with engineers aboard the orbital station, sending encrypted signals to disrupt the Armada's network. "If this works," she said, "we can slow them, even for a few minutes." Every second counted, for in those moments, Earth's forces could strike hard and precise. The tension was unbearable, yet the humans pressed forward, united and determined. In the skies, Captain Rian led a critical squadron toward the largest Armada ship. "Their target, we take this one down, or everything else is lost," he shouted, pilots gripping controls, hearts racing. They dodged alien fire, weaving through massive beams and energy shields, every maneuver testing skill and courage. Some human ships were destroyed, explosions tearing through the darkness, but others pressed on, using agility and strategy to stay one step ahead. The Armada's intelligence was terrifying, yet humans had something it could not predict: completely creativity and courage. A sudden move by Lieutenant Arya disrupted the alien formation, giving Rian the opening they needed. Dr. Ilara's signal reached the target ship, systems faltering, alarms blaring across the Armada fleet. For the first time, humanity had the advantage. "Now," Rion shouted, and missiles struck with precision, detonations shaking the massive alien ship. It began to falter, drifting helplessly. The humans cheered, but there was no time to celebrate. The battle was not yet over. Across the globe, humans fought with everything they had: ground defenses firing, pilots diving through storms of energy, civilians assisting in communications and logistics. The world had become one, united in fear, courage, and hope. Each small victory mattered, each moment a step closer to survival. The Dark Armada countered fiercely, sending waves of ships to protect their flagship. Yet Captain Rion, Lieutenant Arya, and Dr. Ilara coordinated a daring plan, guiding small squads to exploit weaknesses, striking from unexpected angles. Humanity had learned, adapted, and was now fighting with intelligence as much as strength. Finally, after hours of chaos and courage, the massive ship at the center of the Armada faltered completely, energy shields failing, engines exploding. It began to drift out of formation, dragging other ships with it. The Armada's control was broken, and one by one, the remaining vessels retreated into the darkness of space. Humanity had survived. On Earth, cheers erupted, people running into streets, hugging, crying, and celebrating. Yet the world knew the truth. This was only the beginning. The Dark Armada had been defeated, but the universe was vast, and threats would return. Captain Rion looked to the sky, determination in his eyes. "We have proven that humanity will not surrender," he said quietly. Dr. Alara smiled, exhaustion and relief mixing. "And we have learned, Captain, that courage and intelligence together can face even the darkest shadow." The stars shone brighter that night, not just with light, but with the proof that Earth's people had fought, survived, and earned their place in the galaxy. The Dark Armada had awakened, Earth had fought back, and the story of humanity's courage had only just begun.